The Body Shop connects you with the hottest fitness models in the world. Learn the backstage secrets that most successful bikini divas, fitness models, and bodybuilders use to dominate their competition and land on the covers of magazines. Only here at the Body Shop will we allow you to listen and talk to the best of the best in fitness competition. If you're passionate about bodybuilding and fitness, you have found your new home. All of us here at FTNS Radio would like to welcome you to the Body Shop. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome your host, Andre Brick St. Clair.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you and welcome to another edition of the Body Shop. Thank you for allowing us into your homes and into your airwaves. Now here at the Body Shop, what we like to do is, one, give you the backstage secrets of some of the top fitness models, bodybuilders from not just your area, but all around the world. We have a lot of amateurs on, but we also have a lot of professionals. And today, Brian has told me that he's going to surprise me with a special guest, and he hasn't given me any information on this person other than it's somebody that I should know. So I'm going to let my co-host, Mr. Brian Canone, take it from here.
Hey, Andre.
What's up?
Hey, everything's good, man. All right. Well, going back a ways, when I got into this whole sport and I was still competing, there's certain people that I've looked up to. Okay, so back about 1997, probably the top supplement company of that time. They were called the world leader in sports nutrition. It was Twin Lab. All right, they were huge. Twin Lab, Gainer's Fuel and Rip Fuel. That was definitely, absolutely the top company right back then. And ESPN was just kind of getting hot. ESPN being from Connecticut, they just kind of get started. Maybe a few years into that, and they were airing some of these bodybuilding type programs.
Right.
They had a show on American Muscle was on. It was a monthly show. So Twin Lab launched this commercial, and there was this guy, big dude, and he's like running these stairs. And I remember, I was running some shows. We were doing, back then there were AAU shows that we were doing. And I remember that we finally made a connection for Twin Lab to become one of the sponsors.
Right.
So through that, it's like trying to put something together. And I said, well, you know what? They got this guy who I've been seeing in the magazines. Now, at that time, too, Muscular Development magazine started going towards, it became a drug-free magazine. So they had features in there of all these great, natural bodybuilders, like Mike D'Angelo was in there, Greg Rando was in there, and all these different people had full-page ads, and it was like, wow, okay, cool. And then you start finding out, who is this guy from this commercial? All right, and so with the Twin Lab thing, we kind of put it together where they were going to fly this guy in to be a special guest for the show.
Okay.
All right. And so we made the flyers, put everything out, and I'm all excited about it. Now, I remember even like being at the sports page. Remember sports page?
I remember sports page.
And the commercials airing on ESPN. I'm like, that guy's coming, man. This is going to be good. All right. So then one night I'm sleeping. It's like 12 o'clock at night and my phone rings.
Right.
This guy calls up and he goes, "Hey, Bri, this is Skip LaCour.
Get out of here.
I hear I'm on one of your posters." He goes, "I didn't know anything about it." He goes, "I'm actually going to Hawaii with my girlfriend. I can't come." Like, so he ended up coming to the show. It was awesome. So on the line we have Skip LaCour. Hey, Skip, you there?
I am here.
Now, Skip, is there any truth to what Brian just said?
That is true.
Really?
That is true. That goes back a ways.
Okay.
And actually, I think I went all the way to Hawaii and then all the way to the East Coast and back and forth just to make sure that I fulfilled my responsibilities to the fans and to Twin Lab at that time, too.
Right.
So,
right.
great memories.
That's good stuff. Really good stuff, man. But I've always looked up to Skip, and through the years, different natural bodybuilders that I've always talked to, they say, what can I do? How can I market myself? What's the next level? What do I have to do? And I said, go to skiplacour.com, period. Okay, just watch what this guy is doing, because he's, he's doing everything on his own. He's blowing this stuff out, and it's doing amazing. So, Skip, how's everything going? You just launched now a supplement line.
I did. After years of representing the top supplement companies. You mentioned Twin Lab. I was also with Metrics and AST Sports Science. Very proudly representing those companies, doing my job to promote them and all my efforts. I said, hey, I need to do this for myself. And so it started off as a goal, a business goal, 10 years ago. And this past year, I launched Skip LaCour's Mass Machine Nutrition, www.massmachinenutrition.com. So it's just the natural progression and this passion I have for helping others and bodybuilding, fitness, working out, whatever level, whatever the person calls it. So Skip LaCour's Mass Machine Nutrition.
Do you see that like also going into the stores, or is it going to be just mostly online through you?
No, definitely. I'm going to be going into the stores.
Okay.
Just like every, plan, everything goes in steps. Just like, if you want to become a bodybuilder, have a great physique, it just doesn't happen overnight. You have to systematically plan, make a plan, and then you just love every part of the plan, not getting overwhelmed with the whole process, right? Isn't that the success to having a great physique? It's also the blueprint to success in business. So I start off with my existing fan base that I've collected over the years. I stay in touch with my newsletters and information and passion and podcasts. If you do go to skiplacour.com, you mentioned that, Brian, it's that type of information. So when I launched the company, this is for my existing fan base, and I've just provided so much value, not only the top quality nutritional supplement products, the ones that work, okay, because, if we've been in this industry long enough, you know that the majority of money is made out of the super hyped products that promise you the world. Maybe they under-deliver, but they were hyped you up so much, they made so much money, and then they go on to the next thing.
Right.
It's the standards, the staples, just like building your physique. It's the basics, the fundamentals, the things that are proven, tried, and true. That's what's going to give you the physique that you work, and that's what Skip LaCour's Mass Machine Nutrition is made of, the supplements that really work, the non-hype, your high-quality whey protein, creatine, glutamine. Again, the basics, the multivitamins, the things that work. And so my existing fan base, we've created that. Again, tremendous value. I put together this package where if you get, a package that covers all your bases, they get a 1-hour phone consultation with me free of charge, which, when you talk about the time invested, that's worth more than the supplements. It's almost like you get the supplements for free. And I just understand as a business person, you provide a tremendous value to people, and it's not about just the supplements. You guys know that. It's not. Supplements aren't going to create the body. It's the information, the motivation, and it's the instruction along with the supplements that create the body. So that's how I built it with my fan base with this phone consultation, and I'm very appreciative that they built this foundation. We're on fitrx.com. We're going to be on bodybuilding.com here within the next month. So, with bodybuilding.com, for example, with their 2 to 4 million visitors every month, that's the next step. Right?
You're going to be making a lot of phone calls, Skip. You're going to be on the phone a lot when people start buying your products. You got to talk to all of them.
I am on the phone a lot. It's the investment. Look, if you look at my website, the amount of the information that I give away for free, the amount of years I've been doing this, nothing in life doesn't come out of a lot of hard work and effective and efficient work.
Right.
And like I said, I am absolutely certain, Brian and Andre, when someone buys my product, they have that 1-hour phone consultation, they see the value I give, and they get a glimpse of who I am, and I have a customer for life. And I realize that's the best hour investment I can make. Because, look, when it comes to business, Brian, you talked about, hey, you have these bodybuilders, these fitness competitors. How do they make a career? How do they make a living doing what they want to do? And here's the business 101 advice, is that people do business with people they like. Everybody has training strategies. Everybody has eating strategies. And there are dozens and dozens and dozens of supplement companies. I understand that people do business with people they like and people they trust. So that 1 hour I invest is creating a customer for life. And I can say that with absolute certainty. And that's the way it's worked so far in the beginning of months here. So then we're on the major websites. And then when word of mouth spreads, that way. Then we'll be in the stores, and I don't, just like everything, I don't plan on just making this a little business. I mean, this is something that I'm going to be known for, building blocks as the long-term plan. And I always say to myself, bigger than BSN, greater than Gaspari. So
I was going to say that. Yeah, I was going to ask you.
You're hearing it right now, while Skip McCoy's Mass Machine Nutrition is in its infancy. So when it's big time here, you'll understand that, hey, things don't just happen overnight. When people say, wow, Skip McCoy, this company came out of nowhere. Well, you can listen to this podcast and understand it was a dream and a vision, and it was manufactured with a plan and a lot of hard work and time. So
right now, Skip, I just want to touch base on something that you mentioned, and that was, you may get some people to come out of nowhere and be like, oh man, the Skip LaCour company just came out of nowhere, it's popping up, so on and so forth. But let me just take a brief moment and just fill the listeners in on the Body Shop and just exactly who Skip LaCour is, and just a little bit of history about you, okay? Now,
sure.
Ladies and gentlemen, Skip LaCour has over 25 years of extensive involvement in the personal development and motivational business, as well as over 20 years in the bodybuilding and fitness industry. This is not a guy that's just popping up out of nowhere, claiming to be some type of guru and, I know this and I know that. He's written over 10 books. He's produced 8 DVDs, 5 audio seminar courses that have helped thousands of men at all different levels of fitness reach their goals in over 53 countries countries from around the world. Now, Skip LaCour is also a 6-time national drug-free champion bodybuilder. You've won over 15 bodybuilding competitions in your career, and at the peak of your competitive bodybuilding reign, you were considered to be the most recognized drug-free bodybuilder on the planet. Okay, this is a man with these type of credentials that is telling you, if you put your trust in his company, you're not just going to get the product and a receipt and, see you. This man is willing to invest his time with all the knowledge that I've just told you about, and he's going to give you 1 hour of personal one-on-one. You're not going to get that from, a lot of these companies and a lot of these fly-by-night companies. So, Skip, I just want to say thank you for that. Well,
thank you, and thank you for mentioning that too.
Hey, you know what? Brian told me that, hey, I got somebody on the show, and it's somebody that you should know. And you know what? I remember certain pictures of you. There was one of you, I think you was curling a 135-pound barbell, and you had these massive arms, and I'm like, okay, anybody that's bald-headed with big arms, I'm going to listen to, you know what I mean? But now, Skip, okay, what makes your information different and more helpful than all of these other so-called gurus that are just popping up?
All right, that's a great question. First of all, let me tell you something about all the gurus that are out there popping up. If they're preaching the fundamentals, I think that any guru, if he really applies himself, really passionate, he can learn the basic fundamentals in just a couple years of training. And if he's passionate about helping you, he can get you where you want to go, especially if you're just starting out.
Right.
All right. So, I'm not this all the gurus are bad and I'm great. I can just tell you this, is that what makes me unique is that one thing I learned a long time ago, that what makes you successful with your bodybuilding and training efforts, or your working out, or your physique, however a person describes it, whatever level they're going for. And again, if you're just a person who just wants to get in shape, build a little bit of muscle, lose a little bit of body fat, or you want to be the greatest drug-free competitive bodybuilder in the world, whatever your goals are, I learned a long time ago, it's your mindset. It's your mindset. It's how you organize your lifestyle, your priorities, how much passion, determination, those character qualities like perseverance, determination, resilience, flexibility. The mind is your most powerful tool when it comes to success with your bodybuilding and training efforts and anything in life. I learned that a long time ago. In fact, I would say my career as a coach, a friend, a guru, a big brother helping you achieve your goals started 6 years before I even started lifting weights. It's when someone dragged me. It was at that time I was a very ambitious 21-year-old worker in this grocery store. I was in a lower level management. And there was a gentleman who was successful in his own right, his own businesses, that kind of was starting over again to work up his way up with his company. And he saw potential in me, and he pulled me aside and said, you know what, you need to go to this seminar. And it was my first personal development seminar. And his name was Zig Ziglar. And for those of you who don't know who Zig Ziglar is, you might want to Google that. He was like the godfather, the forefather to personal development and motivation. And I'm telling you, Andre, I'm telling you, Brian, it totally changed my life. I mean, this guy was on stage. He just seemed like he was 10 feet tall, speaking directly into my soul, and it seemed like there was like 15,000 people. And I tell you, for the next 3 weeks, I had my southern drawl just like him. I just understood it's the power of the mind that makes you successful in any area of life.
Right.
So 25 years of that type of rock-solid mindset. Because I'll tell you, when you see someone with an amazing physique, especially, and we'll talk about it with this drug-free natural bodybuilding, the first thing, if a guy's got a set of abs, let alone big muscles, hey, there's no way that guy is drug-free.
Right.
Again, we'll talk more about that, but whether a guy has very young and he's a multimillionaire, or he's got a great set of abs and big muscles and drug-free, I can guarantee you that guy has an outstanding mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Right.
In this bodybuilding and fitness world, we want to say that we're the only intelligent bodybuilders. We're the only ones that have character and rationale. And everybody else is some meathead, dumb muscles. We want to rob them of those character qualities, those mental ability that we have, they don't have. And so, therefore, their physique isn't built on anything but drugs and cheating and lying and things like that. And I'll tell you, if that makes you feel good, that's going to keep you where you are. I would say you need to break that guy down. You're going to find out, at least in that area of his life, he is totally amazing, outstanding, that mindset. And it would be, again, the same for someone who's a young multimillionaire.
Mm-hmm.
He applied himself in a way that you just don't know, and that's foreign to you.
Right.
And so it's the 25 years. I went on totally immersing myself in the process. I had the opportunity to work very closely with Tony Robbins, went to all his seminars. I staffed on his event. As a matter of fact, in that same time period that Brian talked about with the Twin
You were on the Anthony Robbins infomercial. He was in the infomercial.
I thought
Okay.
I thought he looked familiar.
Well, you know, there's a particular article that Skip had written, and it was about, being so much into the natural bodybuilding scene. You know, one of the articles you had put out had to do with, it didn't really matter. Like, he didn't tag himself as, like, the greatest natural bodybuilder. He just wanted to be known as being a great bodybuilder.
Exactly.
So it's like, there's so many people you talk to, especially once they're into natural bodybuilding, they point the fingers at other guys. That guy's not clean. That guy's not clean. And Skip was somebody who was never really into that type of negativity and would always just focus on himself. And there's so many guys that I've come along with, and talked to over the years that just want to point fingers all the time. I'm like, and I just think to myself, because, I know the same things that Skip's talking about, these motivational people don't limit yourself.
Right.
And when you limit yourself, and I hear these guys speak and the way that they're talking, and I just know, listen, for one, this guy is not training hard enough. He's not lifting hard enough. He's not putting himself that much into the commitment and dedication that he actually thinks he is, and he's putting up this excuse as like a roadblock to his own success. I mean, there's been so many people that want to point at somebody like Skip and go, that guy's not drug-free. And then they'll never reach that limit. They'll never reach that potential, and that's, I've always, really something I admired about Skip.
And, you make some great points. And what my job as a coach and as a teacher, as a mentor, a guru, however you want to describe it, is to break through that limiting mindset, because there's a saying that says a fish doesn't know it's in water, all right? What makes sense to a person, what he knows is all he knows, and that mindset. So to just say, hey, you're wrong, you should think differently, that won't make sense to him. There's got to be a way that you break through, and there's systematic steps that they do to challenge their beliefs, because the current beliefs that they have of what is and isn't possible, it's not serving them in the long run. It is serving them in the short run. It's giving them a sense of certainty and confidence that the eating strategies that they do, the amount of intensity, the training program. It gives them the certainty that they're on the right track. Yet at the same time, they look in the mirror and they don't have that faith that they're getting anywhere closer to where they want to go, certainly not to that person who may have 10 years in the gym. And the thing is, those beliefs that they hold on to make them feel good now, but it's robbing them of their ultimate vision, their full, genetic potential, and also enjoying the whole process. Man, if you can't enjoy this, I mean, who cares how big your muscles are?
Right. You know what? That right there is such a impactful statement that you made, and the fact that they're going to compare themselves to somebody who may have 10 years in the gym, may have 5 years in the gym, and then they're just walking into the gym for the first time. They've been lifting weights, let's say 3 or 4 months, and all of a sudden it's, well, you know what, I've been lifting and I'm not as big as this guy, and I'm not, I don't have abs like that. Well, what in the world makes you think within a 3-month period that you're going to attain the level that somebody who's put in years of dedication and commitment and eating right will actually have?
Well, there's a lot that people can accomplish in a short period of time if they just look at different things without making those excuses up.
Right. See, I'm not saying that you can't accomplish, these people, tremendous goal.
That's just it. It's in their head that they're making up all these things, but they're not even close.
Exactly.
They're not even close to where they should be doing.
Okay, now, Skip, what I want to ask you is, what is the best piece of advice that you can give for beginners that are just starting out? But I'm going to need to get that answer from you right after this commercial. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Body Shop, where my in-studio co-host is Mr. Brian Canone, and on the line, okay, we have Mr. Skip LaCour. What's up, B?
Well, I just wanted to again bring up that quote that Skip just said: "A fish doesn't know it's in water."
Right.
And that's pretty interesting, like to really think about that. And going back a ways, reading all this type of motivational stuff, I remember I just frequently, recently met up with like a former gym owner that I used to know, and he goes, "You remember that story you told me?" And I go, "I don't know what you're talking about." He goes, "There's one called the law of the lid." The
law of the lid.
Yeah, and he goes, "You told me about this story." He goes, "There's a jar,
okay,
and in there, there's fireflies are in the jar.
Right.
And somebody catches them, puts them in there, and then takes the lid off, and none of them fly out." Because they're so used to flying and hitting the top. They just keep hitting the top of this jar that when you take it off, they don't realize the top is off.
Gotcha.
And then one of them shoots out, man. That's
nice.
That's Skip LaCour right there.
That's Skip LaCour?
that's that lady. That's that lightning bug.
Skip was the one that got away?
Yeah. Maybe one who, unlike the other fireflies in the jar, that I kind of maybe peeked around and I said, "Hey, maybe I can't get out of here."
Right. Okay, now
to go back what you were saying about the drugs and the limiting beliefs that people who've been training for a couple 3 months. I was definitely that guy myself, so I can definitely empathize and understand. I mean, I remember vividly there was some young kid and he was squatting 315 and he must have done about 15 reps, and I was going, "Roid boy," myself, And I think I was a guy who gained some good size within my first year, and this was my first year, and I still had, those feelings, and so I can definitely empathize with someone who sees it that way. The human body is an amazing thing, and what it can accomplish is amazing, but just like everything else, you got to put in your time and you got to break it down.
Right. Well, see, a lot of people, what they want to do is they want to walk into the gym, they want to read a bodybuilding article, and then they want to go try these workouts that the pros claim that is what they do. Right? You're going to read this magazine, and let's say, for instance, Ronnie Coleman says, "I go into the gym, I do 3 sets of flat bench, I do 2 sets of inclines, I do 40 minutes of abs and cardio, and then I go home." And we know that's not true. But then these beginners are walking in there, and they're trying to do these type of advanced workouts. And then they're getting frustrated, like, well, why am I not growing? Why do I not look like my favorite bodybuilder or my favorite coach? So what advice do you have for beginners out there, Skip?
Yeah, that's just a great question, Andre. Like I said, the fundamentals, the organizing principles of success are universal to everything in life. And for a beginner, I would say, hey, what are you amazing at right now?
Right.
Are you amazing at video games? Do you have a really good job for your age? What is it in your life that you're better than most? And then think about it. What makes you better than most? Why are you so amazing compared to your peers? You know, get cocky, get confident for a while, and think about it. And you would see there's something that you just keep on keeping on. You show up every day where other people try and fail, whether it's the video games or your job or, heck, whatever it is. You're a great mechanic or whatever it is that you do. You probably persevered where other people quit. You didn't know it all at once. Here's another thing. The reason why you persevered is because you totally loved what it is you were doing. And so when you had the highs, sure, you enjoyed it, but when the lows, because you loved what you were doing so much, it was easy to persevere, to keep on keeping on, to persist through those downtimes, through those plateaus. So, you know, you kept on going, kept on moving forward. You totally loved what you were doing, and you just kind of were able to be resilient, to be flexible through the challenges. So my advice to beginners are, you know, check yourself. Are you dabbling in this? Or are you really committed? All right? Because it's just going to be like everything in life where it's going to be a lot of trial and error. Here's some more advice. Doing something is always better than doing nothing. All right? Andre, I'm going to kind of give you a different perspective of the way I feel about the training routines in the magazine.
Okay.
All right? Whether it's a professional routine. And that's, see, I believe a person, especially just starting out, he can take any routine. He can take that pro routine, and he can apply himself with his own level, whatever his understanding of intensity and follow-through and concentration, just any plan, any structure, and you keep on keeping on. You do it for 3 weeks, 3 months, a whole year. You are going to see results. Now, the flip side to what you said is getting into the mindset, well, why don't I look like Ronnie Coleman if I did a Ronnie Coleman routine? Well, that's another thing is like, hey, I'm doing these successful strategies of this greatest Xbox player or this mechanic or multimillionaire, and Warren Buffett gave me these strategies on how to become a multimillionaire, and I've been doing it for 3 whole months, and I'm not a multimillionaire.
Yes, sir.
Again, you need to manage your expectations, you know. The question would be is you may not be a multimillionaire like Warren Buffett in 3 whole months of following his strategies, all right? But you are one step closer to doing it. And the same thing with the routines of the pros or someone you identify with. You know, you are getting closer. If you had no structure at all, if you just showed up at the gym and you just did arm days, you just talked a little and everything, and maybe you showed up another day and did arms again, and then you missed 5 days. So if Ronnie Coleman's routine gave you some structure, you are going to be better, all right? And then with that perspective, okay, with that practical experience, you can make adjustments along the way. So some is better than none. Keep on moving forward. Be mentally and emotionally flexible. Manage your expectations. So I kind of threw out a lot of advice to beginners. Let me just tell you something. With the thousands of people that I help from all over the globe, the Internet has made that a great place to connect, to get information about what you're passionate about. All right? It's also created a massive challenge to beginners and everyone who's trying to get to the next level with their bodybuilding training efforts. There's so much information. There's so many gurus. There's so many people out there who are saying, my way is the only way.
Right.
It creates this information overload. People are totally overwhelmed. You know, they start on this training program, they start on this eating program. They may be even getting results. And then with all this information that's shoved in their face through the Internet, because they're passionate about it, they're looking at the Internet, they're looking at the message boards, and then someone says something, they do this great sales job about their way to do it, and every other way is wrong. It creates that sense of doubt.
Right.
And so they've been going 3 months. They've been thinking they've been doing great. And they even saw some results. And all this information is being shoved into their heads because of the Internet. It creates that lack of certainty. And look, managing your time, managing your lifestyle, eating this way all throughout the day, because again, this lifestyle is not just about what you do for an hour or so in the gym, it's the whole 24 hours.
That's right.
Managing what you eat is an important part of the nutritional process.
That's right.
Sacrifice, all the organization that goes along with it, in addition to showing up into the gym on a continual basis, okay? It takes a lot of mental strength and fortitude. And what you need to follow through with anything you do in life is certainty, absolute certainty. All right? So when they get this information, it rocks their sense of certainty. Man, all of a sudden it becomes tough. Not actually doing it, actually being in the mindset to do it. So information overload, that confusion, that frustration is a major challenge beginners and really anyone who are trying to go to the next level they run into. And here's, Brian asked the question, what makes my information so much better than those other gurus out there? And I talked about how the mindset is so important and how I integrate that into everything that I teach, whether it's a training strategy, a diet plan, or a cardio plan. The mental strategies are interwoven to everything I teach. In addition to that, I am not that kind of coach who's going to make everybody wrong and I'm right. This isn't about me. All right? And I'll tell you, if you're out there looking at these gurus, you need to understand, hey, we're all people. We all come from a certain place. What's their true intention?
Right.
Okay? Is it to get you results, or is it to, and I'm not going to say with all the gurus, the internet marketing people out there who really out there to make some money, okay? But let's just take that part out of it. Why? They know, if they've been doing this long enough, they know that every plan, let's say on a scale from 1 to 10, 10 is the most effective and efficient plan. It's going to give you, pack on that muscle. It's going to reduce that body fat. And they certainly believe their plan is a 10 out of 10, okay, if you were to rate it. And that's what they should believe, all right? I just really don't expect any guru or coach out there, internet marketer, to say, hey, my plan's only a 5, but you really should do it. So, again, good for you. You believe your plan's a 10. They know darn well, okay, that those other gurus' plans aren't zeros.
Right.
There's 7s, 8s, 9s. Okay, everybody wants a 10. But you know what? If I had someone come to me and said, hey, well, Joe told me I should do this, and it's been working pretty well. All right? Look, I'm going to listen to his plan unless it's a 2. If he's got the certainty to do it, I'm going to say, okay, do that. I'm going to work with him because I know it's all about results, and that results out from a mindset. So it isn't like there's 10s and zeros, all right, like these gurus want to tell you.
Right.
All right? And so my thing is about getting you results, and I will get a person results. I don't care because, look, I tried all the strategies. It isn't like, I tried one strategy my whole life, and then that's the only one that I did, and that's the only one that gave me results, and everybody I work with, that's the only one that they can get results on. I definitely do believe there's more effective and efficient ways to do things, no doubt about that. At the same time is that I got results because of all those things that I've been telling you about during this whole interview. And I want to give those same results. So that's what makes me different. I'm results-driven. I'm not process-driven. And it certainly isn't about me and my ego and everybody's wrong and I'm better than everybody else, because it isn't about me. It's about people getting results. Here's the other advice for beginners to wrap up the point that I just made is be results-driven. Okay? What does it take to get from where you are now to where you want to go? All right? Don't be getting to debates over the internet or with your friends at the gym because, he eats 3 meals a day and you eat 5 meals a day. All right? That's a process.
Right.
Okay? He does 6 sets and you do 3 sets. Okay? He takes this protein powder and you take a different type of protein powder. Process. It doesn't matter in the big picture. There's so many different facets to this whole physique development, from training to nutrition to cardio to lifestyle organization and motivation. One of these little small details in the process aren't going to make that much of a difference if you're headed. If you have strategies that are 7, 8s, and 9s across the board with all these different facets, you're going to do quite well. And when you follow through on a consistent basis, you'll have that practical experience so you can make your adjustments. All right? So I'm the coach, I'm the friend to get you moving in the right direction, moving towards results, give you that absolute certainty that you need to keep on going. So you're going to last 10 years.
Right.
Because if you have 10 years in this, you're going to really figure things out.
That's true.
So that's the advice I would have for beginners.
Skip, talking about that, and you're working with these different people that you're coaching, what do you find that would be the most challenging thing to get over for them? Is it mindset? Is it the nutrition, their training, like, and what they're looking at in others? Like, if you had somebody that's a challenging client that you're working with, and do they fight you along the way about these different things that we're talking about? Like, how long does it really take to get to somebody really moving at the pace you want? And when they do get stuck, do you find that it's something that it's this limiting, like a belief that they have, or something? Like, how would you push somebody past that?
Those are great questions, Brian. Now, first of all, when someone gets to me and I'm actually giving them more than just all the information that's available, and they come to me for coaching, all right, I would have to say, 99% of the time they're absolutely committed to put aside their current set of beliefs and to do what I outlined for them. They have that faith and trust in me, So, that's why I charge. There's something about this fitness industry. Again, I'm going to throw it out there for everybody who's listening who, have the goal, hey, I'm pretty good at this. I help other people. How can I kind of make a living out of this, doing something that I love? How can I become a professional at this? And I'm just going to tell you right now, all that information that you're giving away for free, and I know you love helping people. You want them to succeed and things like that. That's coming out of the goodness of your heart. If you give things away, they have no value.
Wow.
Very rarely do they have value. That doesn't, I give away tons of free information from my websites that you talked about, and sometimes it'll stick. The thing is, when someone's really committed, they're willing to invest in themselves. And I'll tell you, just because they have their skin in the game, so to speak, just because they invested something, they're going to be more committed. That in it of itself.
Right. So, 99% of the time, if people have the coaching where they put their skin in the game, they're going to do exactly what I say. Now, for those other people, again, I really believe that, especially at the beginning level, it's that confusion. It's that overwhelm with all the information. They don't have that absolute certainty because every time someone says something else, or somebody's very persuasive that their way is the only way, this is too hard, and then they quit. So that's a challenge. But to directly answer your question, Brian, is once they get past that stage, I really think it's when it comes to nutrition.
Yeah.
All right? They want to make nutrition nuclear science. Okay? And now there's a lot of reasons for that.
Right.
All right? First of all, the gurus aren't helping out.
No.
Okay, they're splitting hairs of these little things about, you take this post-workout, that's not important. These meals aren't this and that. Where just like the organizing principles to success, they all have fundamentals. They're taking these extra things, these distinctions that make them different and unique, these gurus do, and they push them upon you. Now, again, it's like with everything. When you build a house, you have a foundation that gets it going, and then you build up from there, and the structure and things like that. And then you start worrying about, things like what type of double glass panes, window panes I'm going to have, or what's the right color paint. Those details, right? Well, these gurus are shoving these details. Oh, that's not the right color. Or those aren't the right type of doors that you should put on there. When there's this whole foundation that needs to be worked on, and that's creating confusion. Right? And then they're saying, well, I want to start this plan. Okay, all right, I'm really into it. I'm really going to get this going down. I've learned that nutrition is really important, and it doesn't matter how hard I trade in the gym. If I don't eat right, okay, I'm really ready to do this. They jump in with a nutritional plan, and then one little detail, they're told that they're wrong, and they say, oh, screw it, because I don't know how much committed they are to begin with. I think that everybody has read that nutrition is 80% of the way you look and feel will be determined by your eating habits. You know what? They hear that, but they want to do everything they can, so hopefully that isn't true. Because most people, once they get to the habit of going to the gym, they love to train like a warrior in the gym and get that pump and get that feel and that feeling of satisfaction when they walk out of the gym. That's easy, in this big picture.
Right.
Now, for those of you who are out there who can't get yourself to the gym, I have empathy for you. I'm just saying the next step, after you get yourself on track, going to the gym on a consistent basis, I'll tell you again, and I'm just saying something you've heard that probably hasn't gotten through that last inch of your skull is that, look, you can train like a warrior in the gym, but if you don't follow through with good, solid nutritional habits, right, you're not going to see the results. All right, you're not going to see the results of your hard work. And again, that's what you do the other 23 hours of the day. So what does that take? It takes advanced planning. You got to have food in your refrigerator, the right foods. It takes organization. You're going to have to stop what you're doing.
Definitely.
Maybe your fun events, maybe your work, to stop and eat. Okay? So it takes organization, and it takes a level of discipline, of course. You can't eat those foods. There's a big emotional tie to food. It's one of those things in life that make you feel good immediately.
Right.
Hey, life gets challenging at times. How many things in life can you do that make you feel good immediately?
Well, you know what?
So,
hold on one second, Skip, because as we're talking about things that you can do in life to make you feel good immediately, I want to know just 3 things from you. Okay, one is, do you miss competing? Second is, what do you think about all of these older masters that are coming back to compete, and do you, Skip, have any desire to do that? And then, once we come back from the break, I want to talk about this young 23-year-old natural bodybuilder, Tyrus Reed, that you're getting him ready for his contest on YouTube, all right? So, you stay tuned. Ladies and gentlemen of the Body Shop, stay tuned. We'll be right back. And welcome back to the Body Shop, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Andre Brick St. Clair, with my in-studio co-host, Mr. Brian Canone. And on the line, we have the guru of gurus. Now, that's what I'm crowning him. I know he doesn't like that title, but that's what I'm crowning him. This is the guru of gurus. We have Mr. Skip LaCour. Okay, now, Skip, right before the break, I asked you 3 or 4 important questions, and I just want a brief answer because I want to lead into something else. So, one is, do you personally miss competing?
I don't. I went 15 years, and I treated every 15 consecutive years as a competitive bodybuilder.
Right.
I didn't go a couple years, take a long break, come back to it. So it was 15 years total dedication, lifestyle, getting every ounce of emotion and physical, emotional, psychological energy out of it, made a business out of it, representing a supplement company. So, won the Team Universe, Muscle Mania, high-profile drug-tested contest, won overall twice there. I pretty much got everything I believe I could get out of it, and there was more things I wanted to accomplish with my life, and the total focus and dedication, that's what I was. That was my identity. That's what I did every single day. And to go on to other things, I know what it takes to be competing. And the standard I've set for myself, I can't do anything less and feel good if I step on stage. So, no, I'm done with that. I got everything out of it.
Okay,
well, see, now you can't have your challenge. Andre likes to challenge people. Like Tony Horton ripped his bicep off his arm, so now Andre wants to have a curling contest.
No, push-up contest. Push-up contest. I had Tony Horton on the show, right? And, was going back and forth. And Tony is a lot like you, Skip. Like, very, very informative, very funny, and just loves what he does, believes in his product, and, please take it as a compliment. Like, you remind me so much of Tony and vice versa, that, I was actually going to put a challenge out there. Now,
I see.
Tony accepted my push-up challenge. So we're going to have that competition September 17th at Trumbull High School. Okay, it's going to be push-up because I don't want him to, blame his arm for any problems. But since you have no quarrels about competing, which is fine, I'm going to find something else to challenge Skip.
I wasn't expecting that answer, though. I really wasn't expecting that answer.
Me either.
I thought, most...
you talk about a push-up contest, so I guess I just assumed the question was, do I want to compete on stage?
Hey, competition is competition, Skip. You know what I mean?
True. Well, the bigger than BSN, the greater than Gaspari. That's competing that I'm focusing on.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Now, what do you think about all of these older, quote-unquote masters that are coming back to compete?
Yeah. I'll tell you something on a personal note. I've seen the pictures of them, and hey, look, I'm all about anyone doing what they love to do. If they're passionate about it, that's awesome. Just that, I want to remember them when they were totally into it. In the prime, their best physique. And, they look great for their age. I just want to remember them when they were just great. So, that's not something that I would want to do unless I could put 100% into it, and I can always improving, always the next level. If I were to compete and I looked anything less than my very best, I would have a challenge with it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So, but hey, life's about doing what you love to do, and gosh darn it, if that makes them happy, God bless them.
Absolutely.
Well, and I think a little bit of that is these guys were so passionate about it and so in love with what they were doing, and they may not know what that next thing is. What,
Brian? As I was saying, my answer, that is an incredible challenge, even for myself as I segued out of competitive bodybuilding.
Right.
So that's a very astute point that you made.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what's next? At least you have these big goals, and we've seen some of the guys accomplish this, Gaspari and Labrada, take their products to that type of level,
right.
But with that personal one-on-one that the Skip's going to do, there's always been, like, when you were first talking about these products, everything's, a catch, everything's, what's the next big thing, and it's whether it's a fancy name or a new fat burner or something crazy comes out. I've always been in touch with these different supplement store owners, the retailers, and they've always said, I always be like, hey, there's a new company, it's this, it's that. Well, what do they have? Is it whey? Is it protein? Is this? He goes, I got that by 20 different people. What's the difference? So they're always kind of, the sad thing is a lot of these guys are looking for the gimmick because they know the gimmick's going to be the hook that's going to grab somebody next, But to know that you can bring in a product into your store and say, okay, when you buy this product, actually the guy that is on this label, he's going to call you.
Yeah.
That's a lot right there.
Yeah. That's just an amazing thing to think about. Okay, if I go and I'm on massmachinenutrition.com, that I'm going to get a call from Skip LaCour, and it's not going to be
when you invest in the Maximum Mass Pack, which is a combination of the products that you need to enhance to support your bodybuilding and training efforts. Now, I'll tell you this, too. The great thing about the Internet is that this stays viral. This podcast will stay viral. I suggest anyone listening to this that you jump on it as soon as possible because, obviously, as things get out there and they multiply, time becomes a commodity, and it is for a limited time. So you need to jump on this right away.
It's definite.
Amal, super producer Amal, was asking me a little bit. He's not familiar with Skip, so I'm like, is he a pro? Is he this and that? Well, for the amount of times of these shows that Skip has won, I mean, you could have been more over an IFBB pro at that level.
Oh, definitely.
If that's what he wanted to go for, too,
If that's what I wanted to go for at that level. Now, technically, winning the overall at the Team Universe in 2002, that qualified me for an IFBB professional status.
Yes.
It's just something that, I knew that I wasn't going to go to that level. I knew what I would have to do to compete at that level to make it worth my time. I wasn't willing to do that. One thing that's different, if you look on Facebook, and I know you guys are on Facebook, and you see all the IFBB professionals from, the bodybuilders to the fitness competitors to the bikini models, part of their name is Jane Doe IFBB professional. There's a great pride that these athletes, these competitors take. I never, for some reason, I just never made that my ultimate goal.
Right.
To become an IFBB professional. I think that maybe I was fortunate enough to write for the magazines and be involved in the competitions that, that was my goal, the bigger purpose, where it was this pro card. So, I guess so technically, I did make IFBB professional status, Brian.
Right.
Well, so I guess that goes back to what Skip was saying, what you gave a great illustration of, Brian, which was, not limiting yourself. Skip never said, okay, if I get to IFBB pro status, that's it. I mean, now, technically, as Skip just pointed out, winning the teens in 2000 and some change did basically qualify him for that.
Right.
That would be, or that is, a remarkable accomplishment because there are a lot of people out there, Skip, who says and believe that the only way you're going to make it to an IFBB Pro status is you need to go the drug route.
Well, it's not even just that, though, Andre. I mean, they're looking for this this title to put their name, to give themselves more meaning, and kind of think that, by having this tagline of, now I'm a pro, all of a sudden things are going to change in their life. And it's like, and we've talked to plenty of people who nothing's changed, you know? I mean, and for me, going all the way back to meet and Skip, and even I remember 1999, the Host Hotel for one of the shows, he's sitting down with Mike D'Angelo with his laptop and going over what an ebook is, you know, and we had no concept what he was talking about. Like, really? Somebody's going to print out 300 pages of your food journal? Oh, yes, they are. You know, and the people wanted this information. They were looking for it, and it's like, you're not going to get that in the magazines that are loaded with ads, you know? So Skip was one of the first people that was providing this information. This is his journal.
Trendsetter.
The whole thing.
Yeah, Brian, I'll tell you, that really makes me feel good. I mean, you kind of reminded me of some things, that all the dedication I put in this industry for a very long time.
Right.
I mean, that whole ebook situation, they weren't called ebooks at that time.
Yep.
All right, what the brainchild of that was, I was on AOL years, this was 1999, and Stephen King was giving away a chapter of one of his books as some type of promotion.
Right.
And I was writing this comprehensive book that had training, nutrition, supplementation, motivation, everything in it. And you know how it is. I mean, there's always better, and so the book was never going to be done. And everybody just kept, and it goes back to a question you asked earlier in this radio interview, is that, tell me about nutrition. And so I had that chapter done. It was 86 pages. And so what I did was, why don't I just sell them this? But I'm not going to print this out, because it'll change. And so what I did is I sent them the whole Microsoft Word file. Yep. All right? And if anybody knows about computers, that's a gigantic file.
Yes, sir.
Back in the day, the computer memories, they'd always get kicked back because nobody had room in their mailbox. You couldn't get it. And if you were on a Mac, you couldn't get it. Now that's all silly because there's PDF files, and that everybody's computer has Adobe Reader put in it, so even the most beginning computer reader can just click something and get it. That wasn't the way it was back then, and I'm proud to say that I was a forefront runner into ebooks before there was such thing as ebooks.
Absolutely.
Well, you know what? I'm going to crown you, along the title of Guru of Guru, I'm going to call you the pioneer of the ebook. Okay? That is your new title. I want it up on there. The next time I go on skiplacour.com, I want to see Skip LaCour, pioneer of ebook, massmachinenutrition.com. I want to see all of that great stuff. But now, let's touch briefly on what you have coming up with this young bodybuilder, 23-year-old by the name of Tyrus Reed, and how you're training him on YouTube. I apologize.
Right, yeah. Through YouTube, you can go to massmachinenutrition.com. You can go to skiplacour.com. You can even So what I did is it's his first bodybuilding contest. His name is Tyrus Reed. He's a 23-year-old natural bodybuilder. And I said, and right now, as of we speak right now, there's 44 videos that are posted. And I took him from, it was about 36 weeks ago, and we just documented his journey. And through it, I did all my coaching of training nutrition, showed him in the gym, how I went over all his goals. And right now, there's 5.5 hours there on YouTube.
Wow.
Right? But it's definitely, it's a process. And right now, as we speak right now, he's 4 weeks away from the Muscle Mania in Miami, his first bodybuilding contest. So, the intensity of the information and the videos are going to get more and more frequent here as we get closer.
Right.
And he's just made an awesome transformation, and it's something that I'm proud of. Part of, Brian, you kind of touch on this is, look, being on the internet, being out there in the public eye, whether it was the Twin Lab commercial, Tony Robbins commercials, or the magazines, is that, you got all this criticism. This doubt on my character as a drug-free bodybuilder. And part of my motivation to write those 10 books, to produce those 8 DVDs, those 5 audio seminar courses was, hey, look, I'm going to teach you how to do this. You may not become a Skip LaCour, but I'm telling you with absolute certainty that you can have a body far more than you think is capable of right now. and I'm going to become a master teacher, a master motivator, to give you that information that you need in an outline in a manner that you can absorb and apply.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was my motivation, is really like, look, hey, you think I'm lying to you? Here, try this.
Yeah.
And that's how that all started. Well, the great thing about these videos is now I take this kid and all my work, all my effort. Now, look, when you see him just shred it waterless on stage, wow, he showed us from the beginning to the end with this guy. So,
exactly.
Again, it's kind of a continuation of that. I'm going to show you guys, how to do all this.
That's great. That's great.
As we speak, though, and again, with this internet, the internet's the greatest thing in the world, isn't it, guys? All this information. I was on my new phone, and I was looking at all these podcasts with all these different niches. There's so much information that's available now. If you wanted to be an expert at anything, it is almost right at your fingertips and practically for free. And that's what's awesome about all this information.
Right.
The challenge is people's attention span is that of a gnat. They got 5. If you can't tell me how to master this in 5 seconds, I'm not going to listen.
Right.
And so, with all this information, boy, I tell you, got to have the patience. Put in your 5.5 hours. 5.5 hours. You're going to be doing this for the next 10 years.
Definitely.
Okay, I took the time to produce all these videos for you to take you from A to Z. Spend 5.5 hours.
And just read it, learn it, inculcate it in your system, inculcate it in what you're doing. All right, Skip, I got roughly 2 minutes and 15 seconds. So one is I want to say congratulations to Tyrus Reed. But Skip, you got to push him, not just for Musclemania, but you got to push him for the upcoming Fitness Atlantic show this coming April 2012, okay?
April 2012. I'm going to write that down right now.
That's right, fitnessatlantic.com. You know that's a show Brian runs. You and Brian got a personal history. Yeah. Okay, there we go. So when I'm announcing names, and I'm looking for Tyrus Reed, okay? All right, now, Skip, briefly, okay, or, take as much time as you need with this one. Is there anybody out there that you would like to thank?
Wow, I want to thank all my, I don't even like to call them fans, all my supporters, all my students from all over the world over these last 15 years. And like you said, 53 countries that have put their faith in me to invest their money in my ebooks and my videos. And thank you for the letters, but really thank you for putting their faith in me. And I'm glad that I was an inspiration, a source of information to give them the results that they've needed, because that's what enabled me to dig deeper and find more distinction and get better on my presentation and my skills to teach more and more people. They funded all this. They funded Mass Machine Nutrition, where I'm going to help the world. And did I tell you I was going to be bigger than BSN and greater than Gaspari? Did I tell you that already?
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
Okay.
We have it on tape. Okay, we have it on tape. I'm going to play it back in a year. I'm going to be like, hey, Skip, you know what? You said it. You accomplished it. You did it. But now, Skip, what I want to know is this right here. Is there any way that I can have you back on the Body Shop, you and Tyrus Reed, after his show, the Musclemania event?
Oh, most definitely. And like I said, I've always, it's great to get to know you, Andre. You got a great spirit about you.
Appreciate that.
Your website, where you're going, your passion. I've always admired Brian. He's stuck in there all these years along with me. Keep on going. I've been following him. Even though we haven't talked, I've seen him on the internet. I want to be a part of your show anytime you want to have me on.
Great.
Well, we appreciate that, Skip. We really appreciate it. Okay, now, do you have any parting words for your fans, your friends, the people that help support you? Do you have any parting words?
Again, thank you so much. Continue going to skiplacour.com. Take advantage of that special that talked about a couple times with Mass Machine Nutrition, that maximum mass pack, and talk to me one-on-one. Get some more of this with you and your specific needs. Let me coach you through that. But go to skiplacour.com. Go to Mass Machine Nutrition often for more and more information and inspiration, because I'll tell you, anytime you immerse yourself into something, I tell you, sign up for my Facebook page, Facebook.com/Skip LaCour. I feed this stuff. So when you get on Facebook, don't be saying, somebody had sushi or another shot in the mirror. Immerse yourself in the information. The more and more you focus on this, it'll become part of you.
There you go.
Without you even knowing it, you become better and better at what you do.
It is. Unfortunately, Skip.
Facebook, Twitter, SkipWithTwitter.com, everything.
All right, Skip, listen, I want to thank you so much for calling to the Body Shop. I can't wait to have you back on, you and Tyrus Reed. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day. Ladies and gentlemen, always remember, success breeds envy. The best revenge you can have against a jealous person is to become even more successful. You keep God first and everything will be all right. This is Bricks signing off for Brian and Skip LaCour. We got to go, but we'll see you when you see you.